Yeah, my name is Stephanie Jens. This is my presentation on the referral and eligibility process for special education. So, today I'm going to be discussing the referral and eligibility determination process for special education services under the Individuals with Disability Act, the IDEA. And then I'm going to talk about the legal timeline, team member roles, developmental considerations, assessment types, and the importance of cultural and linguistic awareness. So like the referral and the eligibility process timeline is students who are being referred for special education evaluation. It's often based on teacher observation. So the general education teacher, if they notice like that the student's struggling or there's some behavioral concerns, and then once the referral is made under the IDEA Act, um, they have to let the parent know. And they also have, and then once the parent gives consent, the school has 60 calendar days to complete the evaluation. Um, and this can vary from state to state. And then within this time, the multidisciplinary team conducts assessments and gathers data. So the data that's been collected is very important because after the evaluations are complete, the team meets to determine eligibility based on the IDA disability categories. So they determine whether or not the student needs special education services. And if the student's eligible, um, they within 30 calendar days, they have to develop an IEP and in the individual education program for that student. So maybe I should have put it present. Roles of general and special education teachers. So both the general and special education teachers play vital roles. The role of the general education teacher is to provide classroom data, observations on behavior, and insight on how the student responds to interventions and instruction in general education settings. So is the are the interventions making a difference in the student's behavior and in their academic output? The special education teacher contributes expertise in disability characteristics and accommodations. So, and instructional strategies and they conduct or interpret assessment results to inform eligibility decisions. So both teachers working together ensure that students' needs are being viewed holistically and equitably. So they have to work together to support the student. The importance of understanding typical development. Um, the general education teacher needs to be able to understand and distinguish between a disability and a developmental delay or a difference caused by external factors like limited instruction or language acquisition. So one of the examples that I saw was that if an English language learner might show language gaps that mimic a learning disability, or are instead related to a second language acquisition. So a lot of times, if a student has English as a second language, some teachers might assume that they are a student with a learning disability. So it's important that evaluators ensure that they're not misidentifying students due to a misunderstanding about development. Assessments used in eligibility determination and psychoeducational evaluation, both formal and informal assessments are used. So a formal assessment might include the Wechsler Intelligence Scale for children, which provides standardized data of cognitive function. An informal assessment could be a teacher work samples or curriculum-based measurements, which offer insight on daily academic performance. So this could be work that they do, everyday work that they do in the classroom, journaling, or if they are um, taking a math test or working on a math assignment that can all be used to determine eligibility that their eligibility for the special education program. Considering culture and language and background in testing, so cultural background, primary language, academic expertise, and family environment all significantly influence test results. For instance, a student who is unfamiliar with test taking or whose first language is not English may underperform on standardized assessments. So if a student doesn't have any experience in taking a test or a test in that method, will have trouble performing. Um, to ensure that they have an equitable evaluation, assessments must be conducted in the student's most proficient language when appropriate. So if a student's coming from a new country where they speak a language where their first language is not English, they shouldn't be testing. A lot of the time students don't get tested in New York City their first year. The second year, their math test will be in their preferred language, and the English test, it's going to be in English. Teens must avoid cultural bias and consider external factors before determining eligibility. And in conclusion, um, the referral to IEP process follows a clear legal timeline. So, like I stated before, if a student um, is referred by a teacher, and once they receive consent from a parent, the school has 60 days, 60 calendar days to start the evaluation process. General and special education educators are critical team members who contribute in unique insights. Knowledge of typical development prevents misidentification, like I stated before. Students who are English language learners are sometimes misidentified because the way that their acquisition of the language is being presented is similar to those who have a learning disability. And assessments must be selected and interpreted with awareness of cultural and linguistic differences. And thank you for watching and for your dedication to the equity and inclusion of education. Mm.